looking so colourful. And a real rarity over here. The sun is actually shining at kick-off time. Rochdale Hornets against Halifax, and what a key game, David Watkins, this one is. If Rochdale win it, they'll feel they're on the way to Division 1. If Halifax win it, they'll feel that they're still in with a chance. They've got to win.
That's right, and I think the interesting feature of today's game is to whether or not both sides are good enough to succeed or even survive in the First Division.
And Halifax getting the ball, and coming straight away with Eddie Riddleston, aiming for the corner. Riddleston, totally unmistakable. He's got dark shorts. He's got some mud on them already. And the first penalty is awarded by referee John Kendrew from Castleford. And how good to see John Kendrew back in action. He's only refereed 4 games this season due to some terrible luck with injuries. He tripped in a grate and damaged one leg, and then had come back in the match at Wigan and had to retire soon after half-time with blood poisoning to the other leg. So it really has been a bad season for him, but he's back in the thick of things today here at Spotland. And this could be the early boost Halifax have been looking for. They only arrived at the ground 35 minutes before the kick-off. The coach got lost, but then they've not been here before. He's missed it. Taken behind his own lines, and could be a dropout. Well, Halifax should have had 2 points really, though. Taken by the player coach John Dorahead. Can't get out of the first tackle, which was administered by Mark Nixon. Holiday, just as good a footballer as his father Bill was in his Hulkingston Rovers days. Short ball is supplied for Dick Fairbank. There's the kick, which should be fielded without too much difficulty by Mark Villa. Had been feared that Villa might miss 2 or 3 matches, but he's okay after an ankle ligament problem. And a really strong Halifax contingent has come over the Pennines. They really do have the best away following in the second division. And it will be a shame for rugby league in many ways if Halifax don't win instant promotion.
That's right, I think a lot of people are expecting them to do it. They haven't done as well as one would have anticipated, but they're still there with a shout this afternoon, and both sides have started off, no doubt, as they aim to finish with everything going forward.
And you really can't afford to lose games like Halifax did at Carlisle if you've got ambitions of going up.
Well, that's right, and they don't play well at times, and they do disappoint, and that's one of the things you always look for in the second division. Is a side good enough to go up and stay up? Because that's the most important thing, is when you get there, you have to stay there.
Half a break made by Nixon. And besides these two, everybody would say that Oldham and Hulkingston Rovers are going up, but Swinton are very much dark horses as well. Rochdale, the most prolific side in the second division on their own ground. So Rochdale's first penalty. And John Woods elects to have a kick at goal, and he knows how important the first points are in a match of this importance.
That's right, they've been under pressure for the first few minutes. Halifax have thrown everything into attack, and this is the first real opportunity that Rochdale have to score. And John Woods, an old campaigner in that respect, a prolific goal kicker in his own right, and this is important.
Woods then for Rochdale, and a shout goes up. 2 points for Rochdale Hornets, 2 points for John Woods. Well, he knows all about scoring points in the first division as well as the second, of course. Record point scorer Woods. It's Rochdale's ball. The referee says there was nothing wrong with the scrum. Then referees hardly ever say there is nowadays. Well, they keep kicking the ball downfield, and it's a good ploy. They've got to chase all that way back. It's not going to go dead, so he'll have to run it out, Will Whitfield. Colin Whitfield, who's graced Wembley, of course, with Wigan, and former Salford player, as you well know, David. And what a good First Division footballer he's been.
Yes, he has. He's a good. He's been a good reference as far as rugby league players is concerned. He's always put everything into his performances for whatever club he's played for.
Oh, they're playing basketball there, and unfortunately it was the wrong thing to do. And Rochdale coming looking for the try. With Nixon it was originally, then Mark Lord. And the long ball is flung out. It's perhaps a little bit too long. It wasn't easy to take, but Woods, and they've got an overlap on the left if they can use it. Good ball, he's clung on and back inside. Rochdale have the first try of the afternoon, and it's scored by their wingman John Higgins. Brought back into the side after a neck injury. Higgins has scored some spectacular tries this season. That wasn't one of the most spectacular because it was simple in the final ending.
Well, both sides have been rather frantic in their play, and the ball has moved from one side of the field to the other. This is the first real concentrated attack that Rochdale have made in the game, and that's all they've done is simply move the ball out wide. The winger Higgins comes inside, full-back's out of position, so is the winger, and he scores an easy try.
It's 6-0 and it's 8-0. Well, simple as you like for John Woods. He's kicked 2 out of 2, and Halifax already have to make a comeback in this game.
Well, that's all. It was a simple move, this. The ball, a long pass was thrown out to the middle of the field, and whilst it wasn't the best of passes, the length of the pass gave them a lot of time to operate, and the ball is moved out wide here, and just watch the wing come back inside his man. And by just doing that, took the whole defence by surprise and galloped over for an easy try.
It really is good to see Rochdale coming to the fore. They've had so many lean times. Short ball for Cowie. Oh, and he's got that pass in as well. And a good storming run here by Martin Hall, the hooker signed from Oldham at the start of this season. Rochdale are really beginning to fling the ball around to good purpose now. Lord on the attack. Lonigan. God, he's a big fella, is this? If he says it's Christmas Day, you start singing carols. Oh, not an easy one to take either for Atkinson. Nearly spun out of his hands. And you get the feeling, David, if Rochdale do happen to get another try and a goal, we could be on an avalanche the way they're playing at the moment.
Well, they're playing in front of their own crowd, Rochdale, and they'll be geared up, obviously. And it must be disappointing, really, to see Halifax put so much on the attack in the first few minutes of the game, didn't score with that Holiday penalty kick, and since then they've really let the game go away from them a little, because Rochdale full of enthusiasm and full of enterprise.
Rochdale with that marvellous home record. Bramley wouldn't be the side you'd have expected to win here, with all due respect to them. I suppose every side has its Achilles heel.
That sometimes happens. The least expected usually happens in these circumstances, but they are a good side, and they have bought, as you said, some good experience, and it's nice to see those experienced players.
What a superb pass that one was from Holiday to Anderson. It must surely be a Halifax. Oh, it should have been a Halifax try. Dorahy couldn't take Anderson's pass, and the player coach will be fuming about that because the try was on a plate.
Let's just watch the way he breaks through here now. Watch Anderson comes onto that ball in the burst. He leaves all the defence standing. Now he's only going to draw a man. John Dorahy is on his right-hand side here. Watch, and the pass, an awful pass, goes to the ground, and an ideal opportunity is lost.
But they might have another one because Dorahy brings his centre on, and Colin Whitfield will storm for the line, and they're not going to stop him. Whitfield's got Halifax's first score. Dorahy made it initially. There was David Needham in the move too. And Colin Whitfield, try number 9 for him this season, and it's come for Halifax when they were just looking as though they might have been rocking, and then they got the break and they've got the try.
Well, they had a missed opportunity just before this, and if we look at this carefully, they moved the ball again. They were fortunate to get possession back. They moved it out wide. Now Whitfield takes the ball on the burst. Now he goes outside in a long arc, outside the defence, and because of his speed and the way in which he took the pass, leaves the defence standing.
It's a good day for open running rugby. I think both sides wanted to do that, and Colin Whitfield, who's piled up all those points in a splendid career, including a very good season in Australia, by the way, in senior grade rugby, has got Halifax on the scoreboard. And Holiday takes a lot of the credit because it was his pass initially which set Anderson through the gap, and that created the first opening, which was spurned. Now he's trying to convert Whitfield's try. And up go the flags. A little bit of hesitancy from one touch judge. This one, have no doubt. And so Halifax have 6 points then. So Whitfield try, a Holiday goal, Halifax on the score sheet, and that will have encouraged them. It was interesting though that, David, I'm sure one touch judge there didn't really feel as though that had gone through, and I think he might well have been swayed by the other touch judge putting up his flag.
There was no doubt about that. There was no conviction by the other touch judge. He already looked and saw that the flag was being raised by his partner, and he raised his flag, much to the annoyance of one or two of the Rochdale players.
James has the ball back inside for Ramshaw. Milner. Oh, the chip over the top from Holiday. He's a real thinking footballer, and he could regather it himself, and he does. And there are people spare on the left. Holiday, that looked forward, but it's not been given as forward. And there's going to be another try for Hetherington, as they know the touch judge now has his flag up. I must admit, I thought that there was a forward pass in there.
Well, forward pass it might have been at that particular time. That was a marvellous piece of ingenuity by Les Holiday. He saw there was no defence in the middle of the field, chipped it over for himself with his players all up in front of him, took it himself and really made a try out of nothing.
I must admit, I thought there was only one team on the field at this stage, because not only he was there were about 4 other Halifax players, and not a red shirt in sight. Now Miley will kick, and he'll kick into a big vacant area. Question whether the ball goes dead or not. It looks as though it will. Must be a bit of a wind, I think. A bit of a tailwind there.
That's right, because everybody seems to take that opportunity, and whilst it doesn't appear that much wind where we are sitting, there must be, because every kick that John Myler has kicked has carried the whole length of the field.
Yes, Alan Agar said he wouldn't give me a job as a weather forecaster, because before the game I told him it was nice and calm out there. He went out, it's blowing a gale, he thinks. It's not quite that. Anderson again makes the break, and Tony Anderson, he shows a clean pair of heels. What a terrific break by Anderson. Can Fairbank make it to the line? Fairbank stretches and almost tried to get over at the second attempt. He was literally a big toe short. Ramshaw, Halifax have got loads of players here on the right. Holiday decides to carve a gap through the middle instead. Now they bring down the centre. Still men spare on the right. Dorahy, Whitfield, they pushed him out. And very good defending by Higgins there. He looked odds-on a scorer, and he nearly ended in the crowd. He's on the track.
Well, that was desperate defence, but you have to admire the way in which Halifax are playing, because that was a superb break again by Anderson. Just watch this, Anderson. He really sets off here. Now, this is sheer pace. He's just leaving the men in his wake. Ideal nearly caught here, but watch this. This is the perfect pass. Draws it, Fairbank inside him. He had it all the way to go to the line. Unfortunately, nobody was backing up, and good defence by the fullback brought him down just a yard short.
That's why Tony Anderson is so coveted. Almost moved to Featherstone during the week, and the word is he might well join Oldham this week to help solve that financial crisis at Halifax.
Well, it'll be a pity to lose him, because there's no doubt this afternoon from the base of the scrum he's made 1 or 2 sensational breaks here. And I would think that he's the sort of player that Halifax would want to take with them into the first division if they're going to get there.
Well, he's incisive, isn't he? Now, talk about incisive running. This time it's on the Rochdale side. Lord gets the pass away. Now, has the wingman got the beating of Whitfield? What a good tackle from Whitfield. Phil Fox was almost in for his first try for the club. Oh, and the ball played, and he is in for his first try for the club. Within seconds, Phil Fox celebrates. He's a good finisher, is this man, as he's proved throughout his career with Lee and Leeds and Wakefield Trinity. It's his first try as a Rochdale Hornets player. A very good play there from the other loose forward. We've been talking about Holiday. That was John Myler's quick thinking that enabled Fox to get in the corner.
Well, it's been end-to-end stuff because Halifax have just pushed up into the Hornets half, and Hornets open out on their own line. Lord takes the ball and streaks down the middle of the field, caught by the cover defence, throws a long pass out of... Now he takes him on, but what a superb tackle. Great defensive play by the full-back then, because he held him. Now he's holding him down in the tackle, a little illegal, but he gets away with it. The linesman or referee notices that. The ball is played forward. Just look at that. Tapped it to himself, did John Myler. Fox goes over. Marvellous try.
And Woods kicks another goal. What a good one as well from out by the touchline there. Woods has got his kicking boots on today, and it's 14 points to 6. There's one against the head by Halifax. Needham's got it back inside, and Hetherington, who gallops away. Whitfield up in the line. He got the first Halifax try. Their only try to date. This is the most promising position they've had for a few minutes, though. They've had to defend manfully. James, very strong runner, Neil James, has scored a lot of tries in his career. Ramshaw to Anderson. 6 minutes from the break. And it really would boost Halifax so much if they could get another score before the half-time. Jason Ramshaw picking himself up there. His father Terry was a very good rugby league pro at Featherstone Rovers and Bradford Northern.
And Salford in the end. He came to us for a year or two when I was playing.
You'd rather play with him than against him, David, I would think, as well.
Absolutely right.
Hall, Humphreys. That was a well-timed pass, and the break is on again here, and a great cantering run. That was good stuff again from Rochdale and from Cowie, who supported some of these breaks very well, and a penalty given against Halifax. Much to the dismay of Colin Whitfield.
Yes, Cowie has featured quite well for a prop forward. He's come on the end of one or two good passes, made a lot of ground, and let the ball go as well at the same time.
And again, John Woods knows the importance of points on the board.
Well, they've got to, that's right. They're 14-6 up at the moment. They really want to build on that, and it would be good for him and the team now to get this one over.
It's straight enough. Can he kick it straight enough? Yes, he can. 16-6 then. And Woods gets his 4th goal of the afternoon. And some of the Halifax fans who are just changing ends in the hope of seeing a few tries scored by their own side in the second half look a little disgruntled at this scoreline.
I would say that Halifax will be disappointed with their first half performance. As I said, they haven't taken all their chances. The defence has been found wanting once or twice, and I'm sure if Rochdale can capitalise on it now in the second half and make the most of it, they could see themselves through.
Again, Myler kicks to good effect. Oh, dearie me. What a knock-on by Colin Whitfield, and he knows it. He's turning his back on us, I think, and well, not surprisingly.
That can sometimes spoil all the good, because he's featured quite well as Colin Whitfield, and to drop a pass in that circumstance then with only a few minutes to go could prove crucial.
Well, he knows it. There'll be no more disappointed man on the field. It's Rochdale's ball out of the scrum. Mark Villa, the former Swinton player, hairs for the line. No more than 8 yards out. Really critical for Halifax's chances here not to concede something now. The scrum half who tries to go all the way is Nixon. So little time left in the half, but there's long enough for Rochdale to extend their lead, and Lord, he goes a cracking run again. Nixon have held them so far. This really is a vital moment in the entire game. Woods to Lonergan, have held him. 2 tackles to go. Can Rochdale take their score to 20? Woods. Humphreys gets out of a tackle. Humphreys is still there. Tony Humphreys. It's not allowed. Well, that could be critical.
Well, they'll be grateful of that, because I feel they once or twice Rochdale have kept it too tight. The only time they did move it out, he shrugged off the centre, this Humphreys, said, look, he's just going over for it. But the referee says, and I think he was right, he lost the ball without any shadow of doubt. And that would have been a killer blow, because they were defending desperately with Halifax, and they certainly couldn't have afforded for a try to have been scored at this point in the game.
Absolutely. 20 or 22 points to 6 would be a heck of a comeback required.
Well, that's right. I think heads start to drop a little bit. As it is at the moment, they must still think they might have a chance.
Instead, Riddleston took a good pass, and the point to Anderson was forward, though.
Well, you have to say, well, that was good refereeing, because he was up with that play, despite the fact he was a quick break away from defence. He was up in play and saw the forward pass taking place, and as a result of it, no one even raised an eyebrow.
Eddie's hair stand on him, though. Woods missed out a man, and John Woods goes into a gap, and he's got an overlap on the right if he uses it. Lord back inside. Garrity, he'll go for the line. Garrity, still Garrity. Touch judge is on. In a way, that's a shame. It stopped the flow.
Yes, John Woods, that's a typical John Woods break, floating away through the defence on the outside. Didn't pass too hurriedly, waited for Lord to come back inside him, and that was the nice part of the whole movement. They were waiting for players to come up and timing the passes properly.
They awarded the penalty to Rochdale as expected. Another important kick then for John Woods. Has he potted this one? No, not so. Straight into the Halifax fans, massed at the back of the post there. The hooter sounds, and a very lively half indeed has ended with Rochdale 16 points to 6 to the good, and I think a pretty good value for it.
Very good value. They played well. They survived a lot of fierce attacks by Halifax. Halifax defence let them down on 1 or 2 occasions, and they've gone in with a justifiable lead at half-time.
The tries have come from Higgins and Fox on his debut for Rochdale, and for Whitfield for Halifax, but those 4 goals for John Woods have really nudged Rochdale into a very good 10-6 then, the score in Rochdale's favour. But one of the major talking points of that first half was the conversion attempt by Les Holiday to the Colin Whitfield try. One touch judge was convinced the ball had gone through the sticks. The other touch judge didn't appear too sure. Now, we have the technology, the referee and touch judges don't. Now, if we slow it down, you can see the ball is coming towards the posts here and goes outside. It should not have been a goal. Halifax have got 2 more points than they should have had. But I wonder what Alan Agar's reaction to that is, and one wonders if the game finished with a 2-point margin, what his reaction would be again. Let's hear what he thinks now. He's with Nick.
Alan, we've just seen a slow motion replay that shows that the Halifax conversion of their try didn't actually go between the posts, so you should be even further ahead than you are.
Be in the paper in the morning, won't it? That's all that counts.
Did the wind play a bigger part than some of the fans realise, you think?
I think it might do. We'll find out in this second half, won't we?
Kicking game?
You'll see.
Thanks, Alan, very much indeed. The news from the touchline from the Halifax bench is the Halifax have made a substitution. Brendan Hill is on for the second half in place of Dick Fairbank. John?
Thank you, Nick. So in the first half, Rochdale just edged the scrums 8-6. And Rochdale have got the ball back again at the moment. Halifax won, the only one to go against the head of those scrums. The penalties conceded, Halifax 7 to Rochdale's 4. And errors in play, a bit disconcerting, I would have thought that, for Halifax coach John Doherty.
Well, that coupled with their lapses in defence as well has given him, I'm sure, at half-time a number of headaches, which he hopes he will get rid of this second half.
Well, a number of things to talk to his team about. Halifax had already made 1 handling lapse in this second half, and there was one by Lonergan of Rochdale. It's evened it up. Penalty against Cowie now. Again, what you were talking about earlier, the holding in the tackle. I suppose every year there's something new that we call the blight on the game, and that's it at the moment.
Well, it's so unnecessary, and players know that once the referee sees them, they lose 10 guards, they lose the ball.
They're looking for the lurking hill. Here he is. There's more of a mountain than a hill.
Well, it's important. That just typifies, isn't it, a side that's not having all that success. No one backing him up at all, plunging one.
This is a good-looking move, and Needham, and again it's Whitfield who goes for the line. Colin Whitfield who got the try, and Doherty's got this one for Halifax. And the Halifax fans back there salute John Doherty smiles. Whitfield's intervention critical once again. Halifax have the first points of the second half, and again it leads me to think, as Doherty's fifth try, that we've got one heck of a game here.
Well, I have to concede a point there. The move just before this was Brendan Hill going in ones, but they moved it out wide. A superb break into the line. Doherty crashes over.
Holiday with the left foot then. Well, we've got a perfect view of this one, whether it goes in or out. We're right behind him, and I can tell you it's going in. And it's 16-12, and Halifax are right back in it.
Well, I say the best position on the field is full-back when you went to exploit the openness of the field, and Whitfield timed his run for perfection, but not only that, he threw an inside ball to his captain, and I'm sure that John Doherty at half-time was telling him what to do. He's done it.
That was almost another error. 36-12 on the opening day of the season to Halifax. Well, Rochdale have got more points than that already this afternoon.
Well, you see, that was two instances then of a really bad play, because they had made a mistake, fumbled the ball, but they got it back again. 6 play the balls. Hill goes in and loses it the first time, and that means a scrum to Rochdale, and the opportunity of holding onto the ball and getting some dominance is gone.
There's a lot of pace about this match, though, and here's some pace in the shape of John Woods, and he's always looking to slip the pass, even when he knows he's going to come a cropper himself. Nixon. He's really been elusive today. This time the full force of Hill is there. Humphreys, the hard-working prop. Then all props are hard-working. It's the first adjective that comes to mind. Lonergan. Oh, there's a gap here for Myler to exploit, and he's still going, is John Myler, twisting, turning, left and right. On the last tackle, he might look to John Woods for the drop. Oh, he comes back in field, and John Woods is still there, and John Myler goes for the drop off the post, and it was there, it was through. Yes, it's a point. He came back down onto the line, and he was looking for a follow-up, but Myler has got the drop goal, and he's nudged Rochdale a further point clear.
That was important then. They've lost a little bit the initiative in the second half of Rochdale, and Halifax had scored, and it was important then. They were putting so much pressure on the Halifax defence. Something had to happen. There was on the 6th play the ball. Woods had made a break, but threw it back inside, steadied himself, and put over a very important drop goal.
Another penalty for holding down. Time after time after time. When will they learn? Safe touch found by Myler. Rather than one that took them well up the field, he was just happy to put the ball out. Cowie. Myler to Humphreys. Rochdale, for all their efforts, still haven't managed to try in this second half. They've just got the one drop goal, but Lonergan will get that ball out in the tackle. Referee Kendrew making sure nobody strayed offside. It's been one of the better aspects of today's game. There's been very few offsides. Myler, this is a break. This is a good break by Myler, and Lord comes and turns it inside, and Nixon goes for the line, and it's a try for Nixon. Mark Nixon's 18th try of his very first season in British Rugby League, and what a vital one it could turn out to be for his club as they bid for a place in Division 1. Just been saying they haven't got a try, they've got one now, all right?
Well, the ball comes out again, and this again where Rochdale have taken a hold on this game, because they make the most of everything they do. John Woods got into a bit of a knot here and didn't quite know what to do with it, but John Myler then picks it up, times his path perfectly here. Lord makes the initial break, Nixon latches onto it, and his sheer speed takes him away from a defence that's floundering.
There's been some very good pace in this match, and there's been some very good goal kicking too. There's no doubt about that one for Woods. 23-12.
Conversion by number 6, John Woods.
Rochdale haven't wasted anything here, actually. This ball to John Woods. Now, John slips here, the defence grabbles hold of him, doesn't really put him down. John Myler then brings play the same way. He doesn't go back in and take it the wrong way. Lord follows up, as he's done all afternoon. Nixon then leaves the defence in his wake.
Very important for Rochdale just to settle, keep their nerve, keep hold of the ball now. Myler, he's been instrumental in most of the best moves, as he was again there for Lord. Good ball as well, and Lord gets almost to halfway on the last tackle now. Will Rochdale run it? Lonergan, he will. There's no other way for him. Back inside is Garrity now. It's a really spirited play, and they keep coming as well. There was a forward pass in there, spotted by referee Kendrew, who's had an excellent match.
Well, the referee has. He's been up with play all the time, and you can't fault that. He's made the right decision all the time, and the players have never ever sort of questioned anything he's done, and that says much for him.
He's perhaps feeling the pace a little bit, but that is totally understandable, bearing in mind the lack of matches he's had this season due to injury. Now Needham. Oh, good play from David Needham, and still he goes. Anderson now, he is quick. He might just get all the way by Anderson. Villa, I don't think he's going to stop him, but he's going to have to come all the way back. It's no try. It's no try. The referee had already awarded a scrum.
Yes, he'd spotted a forward pass in that particular movement.
He had.
Here it is, here. Look, the ball comes out here. Whitfield now comes back inside his man and just pops it up. Needham comes inside. He's held as well, but bounces out of a tackle. Poor defensive play then by Rochdale, and it was at that time then he was sort of held in the tackle. Anderson had just overrun him slightly, and the ball was popped to him forward. It would have been a try, but the referee rightly said no way.
It's exasperating for Anderson to go all that way. He needn't have bothered. Whitfield tries to tie them up in knots again and almost threw the ball to them. And that's on the first tackle. Myler, McDermott. Well, I'm sure the big Halifax following will be so disappointed if the side doesn't win here. And there's only 15 minutes left for Halifax to change this situation. Over on the far side, I see that Simon Bamber is stripping off. Former Springfield Borough player. Well, they've had so many names. Blackpool, Chorley, Springfield. He was actually with Springfield when he came here to Rochdale. Woods thought of the kick, and instead they kept the move flowing, and Garrity is over there in possession now, and that should be a handover, and it will at least give Rochdale the chance to make their substitution. I think Halifax might make one too, but not for the moment. Halifax are looking to bring Dick Fairbank back on. They still never managed to make the change. Plague just keeps going in this game. Holiday's pass. Milner was the man coming up in support, and he's dropped the ball. That's the story of Halifax's day.
It really has. It would do John Doherty well, actually, perhaps to have the use of the video after the game and just see the number of times that his players have put the ball down on the first tackle. It's really given them no opportunity to build up any confidence or indeed any real momentum in going forward. They've really given it to Hornets on a plate many, many times.
Well, at the end of each game, Scrum Down does give a video to each side, just so that the coaches can see exactly what did go on in the match, and they can use it to their benefit in training. Oh, lovely move by Nixon, and he keeps going, still going. Nixon, tremendous effort from the New Zealander, and he's taken play inside the Halifax 25, and if they don't hold him down, there could be trouble for Halifax defence Looking to really spread eagle them now. Myler, Woods goes back to the left, and still he can run, can John Woods, and he's going, is John Woods, and I think he's going to get there. John Woods, caught by the ankle, otherwise it would have been one of the tries of the season. As we came into the ground, somebody said, well, John Woods won't appear on your programme twice and not score. He didn't get a score at York. Myler thinks of the drop goal. It came off a Halifax hand, went behind, and they'll drop out from under their own posts. Well, Woods is still a good player.
That's the type of player he is, John. He comes in now in fits and starts, pops not as often as he did 3 or 4 years ago. But he really comes out on the outside, and then he went back against the defence because he knew that's where it was weakest. They were relaxing, nearly got in at the far corner.
Humphries. The roos went around the ground then. Oh dear, a few more roos as well as Brendan Hill gets stuck in, not once, not twice, but about 3 times. And the fists were fairly swinging. Could well be certainly a sin bin here. Tony Humphries gets the call to come forward. I think Brendan Hill might. He is beckoned as well. So the first word is to Humphries. Shake of the head, and they both can go off for 10 minutes, and that should just about do for this afternoon for them. In and out for Halifax with just 2 minutes to go, and the kick down the middle means that Rochdale will have to race back, and there's nobody better to do that than Phil Fox. 2 minutes to go. And that was one of the best things Halifax have done all afternoon. Villa felt the force of that one. Myler shows it, gives it to Cowie. Once more Cowie offloads to Lord. Still Lord, now Hall has to go right. He's got 2 men alongside him. Hall keeps going. He's got a man in his left as well. That man is John Woods. Woods is on the 25. Well, they might well have scored there. They're holding him down. Woods plays the ball to himself and has nobody to give it to this time. Halifax are really desperately holding on now, but the match is beyond them. Myler, McDermott, where can we go, he says. Cowie will take it. He'll try to go through the middle, will Cowie, as he's done on numerous occasions. It's the last tackle. I think both sets of teams now are settled for it, and we'll be happy to hear that final hooter. Bamber. Garrity kicks it. Should go into a pair of Halifax hands. That was Milner, Richard Milner. Fairbank bores his way over the line. The halfway line, though. Featherington skipping through the middle, offloading to Anderson, and Anderson gets Lyons moving. So is there going to be a late sting here from Halifax? There's the chip through from Ramshaw. It's gone dead though.
I think he might have been better then to have moved the ball out wide. There were 2 very frustrated players on his outside waiting for it when the youngster took the opportunity of chipping through the middle.
Rochdale Hornets are maybe on their way into the first division. It's certainly beckoning for them after this 23 points to 12 success. And look at the smiles. They know this was a truly significant day for them. But Halifax, I think now, have got to say goodbye to their hopes of playing first division football at Cromhall next season. The victory for the home side, won for them by tries by Higgins and Fox in the first half, by Nixon in the second half, and 5 goals from John Woods. What a good signing he's turned out to be for them. Halifax, who just got a tries from Whitfield and Dorothy, were not good enough on the day. So the man of the match, not surprisingly, is in the Rochdale dressing room, David Watkins.
Yes, the Stonesborough man of the match award this afternoon goes to John Myler. A fine display by John Myler. He marshalled his team in both attack and defence. His finely timed passes and changes of direction enabled his outside to open up the Halifax defence. And not forgetting that vital drop ball when pressure was being put on the Halifax side right at the right time. Well, John, a far better performance than it was at Rochdale York when we last had you on television. Is this the last of the obstacles now to the First Division?
Well, it makes it a lot easier, but every week we've got to keep winning because we've got to keep our momentum going. We can't relax now because we've got to build for next year. Excuse me. Hopefully, as we keep winning, we've got to build up, and we can't relax because we've got to keep our performances.
Well, it was a fine performance today, and I'm sure that it will do you well now toward the end of the season.
It's a better performance than we have been playing, and hopefully that we can play like this against so-called lesser teams because we should be able to raise our game like this every week. Some of the lads have played a lot better than myself, a lot better today than we have been doing, so hopefully we can keep that level of performance up every week.
Well, congratulations and welcome.
It's always nice to get a try on your debut, of course. Is that something that's happened to you throughout your career with your clubs?
Every debut I've had, I've scored a try. And I could have had 2 really if Tony Humphries had passed to me. But
Funnily enough, I thought you were in for it first time, and then, of course, John Myler played the little kick and put you in.
yeah, he played well. I've run off John Myler when I played in the A team years ago with Widnes, so I knew what he was going to do. I had an idea what he was going to do and just followed him up. Knew he'd get out to me.
Now, you've dropped a division. Have you noticed much difference between First Division rugby with Wakefield Trinity and Second Division here?
Well, this is my first game and it was the pace of a First Division game actually. So I didn't see any difference there. I would think it's a bit slower in other games. But today was like a cup final, it's like a First Division game.
I'm sure you're very disappointed not to be able to satisfy one of the best following supporters in the league.
Certainly am, I'm extremely disappointed, and on today's performance, we've just got to take stock and try and build up for next week at home.
Have the activities off the field got through to the players at all, do you think? I mean, there's been so much speculation surrounding events at Thrum Hall.
Yes, there's been a bit of upheaval in the past 7 to 10 days or so, and it probably has some little to do with it, but I wouldn't say a lot, because the guys, we've all spoken about it, and we've tried to put it in perspective, and I think that coming to the game we had a good frame of mind and looked to do the job.
The match analysis shows that Rochdale edged the day.
And the Wire Late Show stops Leeds drawing level with Wigan. Des Drummond's try 4 minutes from time wins the match for Warrington. Elsewhere, Alex Murphy works his magic as Lee's new coach. Ian Jeffrey gets a first-half hat-trick in a 40-point haul. A Gerald Caudle try in 2 minutes sets Brantford on the victory march at Widnes. Jonathan Davis is carried off. Steve Gibson gets 2 tries as Salford win at Featherstone, and Gary Rose is sent off to complete a black day at Post Office Road. Paul Eastwood, Neil Turner and John Sharp, 2 tries each as Hull find form against Wakefield. But Dave Kettlestring is the day's real star, 6 tries for him, and 2 tries and 9 goals for Graham Sullivan as York go berserk at Keighley. The results from the Stonesborough Championship: Barrow 6, Lee 44, Featherstone 20, Salford 33, Hull 34, Wakefield 17, Warrington 9, Leeds 6, Widnes 14, Bradford Northern 40. So to the highlights from Wilderspool, Warrington against Leeds.
The first point of the afternoon went to Leeds, courtesy of Gary Devorty's boot. That unusual rugby league scoreline, 1-0, stayed on the board until the 34th minute, when Warrington got into a good attacking position. That's fullback David Lyon, close to the line, but then held on to by Gary Schofield. The penalty awarded, and that gave Paul Bishop the opportunity to make it 2-1 with his left boot, an opportunity he took. Well, that was the half-time score, but there was promise of better things to come when Bishop dropped a goal in the very first minute after the break, 3-1. And soon it was 3-2. Gary Schofield saying, anything Paul Bishop can do, I can do better. It seemed the game was destined to be tryless, but with 6 minutes to go, substitute Paul Delaney started a move, carried on by John Bentley and Gary Lord and Rob Ackerman, and finished with some panache by the highly effective Carl Gibson. 6-3 to Leeds. but Schofield couldn't tack on the extra points. The critical error, though, was made by Bentley, who kicked out on the full at only the second play the ball. His colleagues wouldn't have thanked him for that. And seconds later, Warrington had set up the position. Bishop flung out a pass, so did Thomas to make the vital gap. Mike Gregory sends Des Drummond over. He might not want to play for Great Britain anymore, but he still enjoys scoring tries for Warrington. The goal kick incidental by now, but Bishop still enjoyed putting it between the sticks. A real blow to Leeds' championship hopes. The final score, Warrington 9, Leeds 6.
So Leeds missing their chance to go joint top with Wigan. The top four unchanged, in fact. Wakefield, who could have drawn level with Widnes, dropped below Bradford and Hull. At the bottom, Lee are up to 10th, ahead of Featherstone and Sheffield. The battle between those three to avoid the trapdoor will be quite something. Division 2. Batley 14, Oldham 30. Bramley 29, Runcorn 6. Dewsbury 32, Workington 4. Doncaster 5, Swinton 38. Fulham 34, Huddersfield 10. Hunslet 14, Trafford Borough 25. Keighley 8, Rydale York 70. Nottingham 0, Carlisle 60. Rochdale 23, Halifax 12. Whitehaven 16, Chorley 4. Well, no game today for Hulkingston Rovers, so they drop below Rochdale and Oldham at the top. Otherwise, Gary Schofield gets the 101st.